Austin Ivray asked the last question centred on the effects on the church of this crisis and the needs to rethink our ways of operating. Does the Pope see emerging from this a church that is more missionary, more creative, less attached to institutions? Are we seeing a new kind of a home church? And Francis answers, less attached to institutions, I'd say less attached to certain ways of thinking, because the church is institution. The temptation is to dream of a deinstitutionalized church, a Gnostic church without institutions, or one that is subject to fixed institutions, which would be a Pelagian church. The one who makes the church is the Holy Spirit, who is neither Gnostic nor Pelagian. It is the Holy Spirit who institutionalizes the church in an alternative, complementary way, because the Holy Spirit provokes disorder through the charisms, but then out of that disorder creates harmony. A church that is free is not an anarchic church, because freedom is God's gift. An institutional church means a church institutionalized by the Holy Spirit. A tension between disorder and harmony. This is the church that must come out of the crisis. We have to learn to live in a church that exists in the tension between harmony and disorder provoked by the Holy Spirit. If you ask me which book of theology can best help you understand this, it would be the Acts of the Apostles. There you will see how the Holy Spirit deinstitutionalizes what is no longer of use and institutionalizes the future of the church. That is the church that needs to come out of this crisis. About a week ago, an Italian bishop, somewhat flustered, called me. He had been going around the hospitals wanting to give absolution to those inside the wards from the hallway of the hospital. But he had spoken to the canon lawyers who had told him he couldn't, that absolution could only be given in direct contact. "What do you think, Holy Father?" he had asked me. I told him, "Bishop, fulfill your priestly duty." And the bishop said, "Thank you, I understand." I found out later he was giving absolution all around the place. This is the freedom of the Spirit in the midst of a crisis, not a church closed off in institutions. That doesn't mean that canon law is not important. It is, it helps, and please let's make good use of it. It is for our good. But the final canon says that the whole of canon law is for the salvation of souls. And that's what opens the door for us to go out in times of difficulty to bring the consolation of God. You asked me about a home church. We have to respond to our confinement with all our creativity. We can either get depressed and alienated through media that can take us out of our reality, or we can get creative. At home, we need an apostolic creativity, a creativity shorn of so many useless things, but with a yearning to express our faith in community as the people of God. So, to be in lockdown, but yearning with the memory that yearns and begets hope. This is what will help us escape our confinement.